What an interesting week here at i3D Themes. Good afternoon, it's Brandon Devnich from i3D Themes with this week's Interactive number 74, where we share what we're passionate about and what we've been working on here in the i3D Themes Design and Code Labs. So a couple really interesting things in the web development world. First of all, the Bootstrap framework, which we use for our mobile responsive website templates and WordPress themes, has finally, the next version has finally come out of, I guess they call it release candidate or alpha version. It's now an official version 4.0. In our, pretty much all of our website templates, our Generation 11 website templates and our Aquila WordPress framework themes, the framework is using the Bootstrap 3.0 mobile first framework. It's fantastic. It's great. It allows you to hide different elements based upon the viewport size. If you're like a mobile phone or a tablet or a small browser or a really big desktop. And so it actually has everything that you need in it. But now they have version 4 and it takes advantage of even more cutting edge things within the framework that allow for display of boxes in different ways. It's called the Flexbox framework. And so while we're going to be looking at using that in future releases, we will not be going and retrofitting our older versions, because the version that's in those designs and those templates is more than adequate. It's actually a fantastic version of the framework. And although there are some new features within Bootstrap 4, we wouldn't be able to take advantage of them in the older designs, but we are going to see how we can take advantage of them in the upcoming ones, which brings me on to what Colin's been working on this week. He's been working on the Oxygen website template. Here, I've got a screenshot here I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to deke off to the side here. So this is an actual screenshot of the HTML page with the the top slider region, the menu, and the middle of the page. And so there you go. That's actually, he's taken the graphic mockup and put it directly in HTML. And this is a really great step. What he's going to be doing now is taking finishing up the rest of the page, as well as the template pages, the non-home pages, getting that all done, and then porting it over to the WordPress theme that he's going to be releasing it as well, and releasing both of those. So very, very exciting. So that's been keeping him pretty busy, along with the million phone calls that have come in this week, and he's been juggling a lot of requests. So how he got any design work done is beyond me. The other really interesting thing in the web design world is this other component that launched a new version called FontAwesome. Now, you've probably seen FontAwesome icons everywhere you go. Pretty much most websites that use sort of a Bootstrap framework also use the FontAwesome framework, because FontAwesome supports Bootstrap. The new icon set, version 4 for Bootstrap for FontAwesome had something like, I want to say 700 icons. It's like lots to choose from. But there's always a few that you're like, I wish they had something like this. And they continually go in for the next version, release new icons. Now that we're at version 5, what they've done is they've really revamped this. It's not the same syntax. It uses slightly different syntax. So if you want to use this, you can't just drop the new file in. You actually have to go and change the syntax. So it's not quite as easy as going from version 4.1 to 4.2 to 4.3. No, this is a big change, because they're now using scalable vector graphics, or SVG for short. Now, why is that important? It loads way faster. In fact, how the icon system loads into the page is way faster as well. They're taking advantage of a non-blocking, non-render blocking insertion into the page. Long story short, it's how it should be done, because we are evolving as web developers to ensure that the pages that we're developing and designing are loading as fast as possible, because it is becoming more important every single day as more and more people become comfortable with searching with their mobile phones for things, or using voice search. That's something that's really big, that's coming down with your Google Home device or your Alexa speaker or upcoming the HomePod from Apple. And that's where you talk to your virtual assistant through the device. Hey Alexa, how do I speed up my WordPress website? And Alexa will come back with, how do you speed up your WordPress website? Now, as all of that is coming together, and people are used to using mobile phones as well, and voice search, it becomes the same as, hey Siri, find me a restaurant. This sort of thing it's all tied together, and how web pages are going to be displayed in search results is going to have a lot to do with how fast those results are, because mobile results need to be served to a mobile phone, and how fast the page loads is going to impact whether or not the person clicks on the link and then backs up because the page hasn't loaded very fast, or because it loaded really fast, they stay there and then they read the article. Now, Google's all about providing results that are relevant, or that are authoritative, and that load fast, because they want to provide a great user experience for using their search engine. They want to be the go-to place. And in fact, they've done an excellent job of this. They are over 90% of the market for search. Bing and Yahoo, hardly anybody uses those search engines. It's over 90% Google. And they've done a fantastic job of giving relevant results. Like, their algorithm is like super complex. I don't think the people at Google even know how it works, because there's this thing called rank brain that kicks in and does a lot of the thinking about what people are wanting to search for when they search for one search term. Do they really mean that? Or do they mean something slightly different? And taking a look at how all the data in that system correlates. And when it comes to mobile search, it understands that mobile phones take longer to load the data. And they are benchmarking using the 3G protocol, which is a pretty slow protocol. So that means that the larger your web page, if your website is not optimized for the fastest possible load time for like render blocking resources and minified content and optimized images, it's going to load slowly, because the lowest common denominator being a mobile phone with 3G data plan, when over 60% of search through Google is now done on a mobile device, they have to go, all right, so what are the best results going to be? Well, obviously, relevant content is going to be important, right? And they have to be authoritative. But right after that, does it really take 15 seconds for that web page to load up? If it does, that's a really poor result. And so they are going to be using the speed metric come July as a part of their mobile search index. Back a few years back, when they said, all right, everybody, you got to make sure that your site is mobile responsive and mobile friendly, and basically meant have a meta viewport tag in the page. And if people didn't have that, results got basically, their rankings dropped big time. This is going to be another big shock to the system when these updated mechanisms kick into their algorithm in July, as they made an announcement a couple weeks ago that says in July 2018, speed is going to become part of the ranking factor for the mobile search index. It's going to be really super important. So the fact that FontAwesome and Bootstrap just released their latest versions, which focus on faster, like the FontAwesome is the scalable vector graphics, but Bootstrap also has it's a much better and optimized sort of framework of code. It's all being done to make the web pages load faster. So if you've already got Pegasus, or you've already got the Numo Accelerator website optimization plugins running on your website, you're ahead of the game. Come July, when everybody else is freaking out, you're going to be like, I knew that was coming. So that's kudos to you. If you don't, and you think that your WordPress website is slow and not optimized, it might be a good idea to take a look at Pegasus. We've updated it this week even, and then next week we have a full new minor version, 1.2 I think is what we're going to be releasing it as, and that's going to have a bunch of new information within it. It's going to have cache management, better cache management, and even more cache management, and then coming 2 to 3 weeks after that, we're actually going to be releasing version 2, which is going to be having some really fantastic It's going to have additional speed metrics that you can compare your old site to your new site and take a look at how much it has improved as far as speed is concerned. So we're really very excited to get that out there as well. There's literally only so many hours in the day, 24 in fact. I wish there were more, but then of course we have to take away time for sleeping and eating and all the rest of the things that are important to not, work-life balance. So, it'll get here. But it's going to be a really significant and fantastic version. Not that the current version isn't also fantastic, but we're also going to be looking at, there's some really great stuff I really want to get in there. Because the sooner you can get your website optimized, the sooner you can sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and not have to worry about it. So, anyways, thanks so much for joining me. That's really been keeping us busy here at i3D Themes this week. We hope you've had a fantastic week and you've got great plans for the weekend ahead. Tune in next week. We're actually go through each of the different features. I'm going to show you what the features are in version 1.2, the updates. I'll do some screenshots and then give a little bit more detail about what is coming in version 2 of the Pegasus Accelerator. Hopefully at that point we will have some more screenshots of the Oxygen website design that Colin's been working on, as well as maybe even news about a release date. He doesn't like to give release date news until the day before it's actually going live, because so much happens every week here where we get either a great influx of new projects where we have to prioritize because design tends to come second, or something new and exciting happens. And we actually have a sort of a saying for this. Every new feature that somebody suggests or that we come up with, it's called a squirrel. It's like we are a dog in a park full of squirrels, and we don't know which squirrel to chase first. And the squirrels are all taunting us. But that's what it's like when you really enjoy what you're doing and you really want to implement all these features. And the trick is to just focus in on one squirrel at a time. Anyways, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again next Friday. Bye-bye.